Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Jake Talks Capes. I am joined today by a very, very special guest, Mr. Kieran at the movies, and we're here to talk about your favourite character in all of fiction. We're here to talk about Batman. So before we get into it, just let everyone know some of your thoughts on the Caped Crusader, your favourite boy in the world.
Well, if you'd seen my post maybe a couple of days ago, Batman is my favourite character in all of fiction. For as long as I can remember, I was running about my granny's living room with a black bin bag as a cape, using my granny and granddad's couch cushions to make a bat cave. So I think that pretty much tells you how much
Yeah.
I've always loved the character. And I'm really looking forward to getting into this, casting the brave and the bold with you, Jake.
Yeah, so today we're going to look at the main members of the Bat family. We're going to look at the 8 main members of the Bat family. So that's all 4 Robins. Is that 8? Yeah, all 4 Robins, Batman, Oracle, and Jim Gordon. And maybe next time we'll come back, we'll do some villains, because there's a lot of villains to go through in Batman's rogues gallery. But let's just kick it off. Let's just jump right into it. Let's waste no time. Let's not fuck about. Let's go right in for Batman. Now, if you watched my last couple of X-Men videos, I'd put in some notes on my kind of traits for every character, the things that I'm looking for. I'd imagine things that we're both looking for, that just kind of feel essential and core to the character. Not that Batman needs any introduction, but let's just read through what I've got here. So I want my actor to be around 35 to 45. That's my age range I'm looking at. I was looking older than James Gunn said that his Batman's not going to be a lot older than Corn Sweat Superman, so I narrowed it down a little bit. I want him to be bigger than Robert Pattinson, just to give a visual distinction between both Batmen. I think he should feel older than Corn Sweat Superman anyway, which is obviously something that I did look at first. He's got to have a real sense of justice and a real sense of right or wrong. Someone that's willing to get their hands dirty, but also someone that is just a suave motherfucker. Someone that can put on the suit, look good, be Bruce Wayne, and someone who has the ability to play both sides of that character perfectly. So those are my main things that I've looked into. Anything that you would add on to that?
I agree with you pretty much across the board. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Someone who's strong, someone obviously, hopefully a bit taller than Corn Sweat, maybe.
I've not looked. I think my guy's tall. He feels tall.
I feel as if you've got to shift up that dynamic between Superman and Batman, and make him seem more superhuman than what he is, because he deserves that kind of caliber actor, someone who's tall and imposing. Not just to be alongside Superman, but obviously in his own right, he's got to be that kind of dominant force.
Superman's 6'4", so my Batman is 6 foot, but we'll give him those Robert Downey. We'll give him those Robert Downey Jr. shoes.
Aye, we'll get him some lifts, some Cuban heels, and that maybe take up to like 6'2".
Yeah, get him in it. As long as he's not, quite. As long as there's not a huge disparity, I'm not majorly upset with it. So I'll start us off. I'll go through my runners up. My runners up. Everyone's talking about him. Alan Ritchson. He's thrown his own name in the hat. Definitely a bigger and a much wider visual disparity between him and Robert Pattinson, which is one of the main things I'm looking for.
Definitely.
Just absolute Batman before absolute Batman was drawn. A big unit. I like Ritchson. I've just not seen him in enough. I've not seen him in enough things to really have a major attachment to him. So he just kind of fell short for me. My original pick was John Hamm, but John Hamm's... I've still not watched it. It's one of the ones on my list to just get to, and I know I need to get to it, but I'm just running through everything at the minute.
That's fair.
But I will get in. In my original first pick, John Hamm. And more I kind of got through it, I was like, he's in his mid-50s. I think he'd be fun if you do a Batman Beyond, but I also think if you do Batman Beyond, you'll bring back one of the people who's already played Batman for it. But I like him more as an older Batman, but if we are still going kind of 30s to 40s, he's aged out. A man who's also, I believe, voiced the character a lot, and everyone's kind of number one shout, Jensen Ackles. I really like Jensen Ackles. He's just not an actor that I have a major emotional attachment to, and I think I'd always see him as the guy from Supernatural, and like even in The Boys, I still see him as the guy from Supernatural when he's I'm very different. Yeah, when he's just very, very different, I still just see him as the guy from Supernatural, and maybe that's on me, but that's just for that reason I couldn't put him right to my number one spot. And then my number two, is it came down to the wire between this guy and my number 1 pick. My number 2 pick I got rid of just because, as I was saying, my Nightwing in real life is 32. It can probably play down to about 25, which is
Mhm.
where I want Nightwing. This guy, I don't think can play up as far as 40. So for that, I've had to eliminate Aaron Taylor Johnson at the last hurdle.
I don't know if I could buy him as a Batman. I don't know if I could. It's the I don't know if maybe because in real life he's like quite cheeky, and I don't know if that plays into like obviously he's roles in like Kick-Ass, and then he's got like Kraven the Hunter on that coming up as well. It's one of
I
those ones where I'm
think
like, you're too cheeky to be Batman.
I think like see the physicality that he brought to Bullet Train
Mm-hmm.
paired with the kind of the just like how, as you say, how cheeky he was in Bullet Train. I'm like, that kind of cheek lends itself quite well to Bruce.
Mm.
And I've also seen the
That's fair.
physicality, and I saw how big he's got in the Craven trailers. But like I
Oh
say,
yeah, he's massive.
he looks huge, but he's 32, and I can't see him playing up as far as 40. Or sorry, he's
Yeah,
34,
it doesn't.
but he feels
Aye,
34.
right. It doesn't seem as if he's got that head on his shoulders above like the corn sweat. Like it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah,
Not an elder statesman, but someone who's just a wee bit more world weary and like
yeah.
weathered.
And it's like I
Yeah, I
think,
totally get you.
and I don't think there's enough of a visual disparity between him and Nightwing. It would
Yeah.
feel, and I always kind of like the Bruce feeling slightly less like a dad and slightly more like an older brother, and that's why he made so many
Mm-hmm.
mistakes with Dick. I do like that, but this doesn't feel like he's an older brother of like say 10 to 15 years. This feels like an older brother
Yeah.
of 3 to 4 years to my Nightwing. So, like I say, I just had to knock him out at the last hurdle. But those are my runners up. So, who are your runners up?
Well, I think all of mine are runners up and first picks. It's hard to choose between them, but I'll go with the one that's a lot older. And I've gone for Scott Adkins. He was great in John Wick 4. He played a villain in that. He was superb, and he's got that martial arts background that I just love. I love that kind of dynamic, visceral kind of
Yeah,
approach for a Batman. He's got that down to a T, and it's something we've not really seen on screen. If we go for like the Batman of the '89 into the '90s, Nolan's Batman, and even now Pattinson, we've never had that a kind of fighting expertise that I
yeah.
really like seeing from a Batman.
I think as well, like with Nolan's, obviously you see him training in martial arts, but he always fights. Whenever he's using that, it's to fight defensively, and it's
Yep.
always to tire someone out or
Mm-hmm.
kicking dogs off roofs in Nolan's movies, like he did in the
Aye,
Dark Knight.
well,
Yeah,
I know
off a
Nolan's not
partially
the best
constructed
at
boat.
his action either.
Yeah,
He's not the best at his fight scenes, Nolan. So
yeah,
I'll give him a bit of leeway there because he does everything else so brilliantly.
yeah. And
Um,
I think, as you
but
say, in terms of like having a Batman who is so capable as a martial artist, and I think obviously Pattinson, you saw it with like his fight scenes, but his are a lot more sloppy and
yeah,
angry. His is just
yeah,
more,
he's a
which
year two
that's not
Batman,
Batman.
so
Yeah,
you expect that sloppiness, and he's going to make mistakes and get over emotional. But I think with the likes of Scott Adkins, who's maybe a bit further on in his Batman career, that martial arts background is like so important to a Batman who's going to have like a Nightwing, a Robin, a Batgirl. It's something that I think is really important, and I would love to see Adkins in the role. He is 47, but I do think he
Hmm.
could play down to like
Oh yeah,
37, 40.
him. Yeah, I know him.
You got
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I was
Yep,
thinking. I was like, I know the name, and I was like, what have I seen him in? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm about
and
that.
he's just got that face, and I would love to see him in the kill.
I,
Um,
I think as well. One of the things you mentioned is the face.
mhm.
Honestly, I started working backwards for my pick because I saw him in a poster for something, and I was like, that's a big, good, just wide, strong jaw on him. And then I
Aye.
was like, how old is he? And then I just kind of started thinking and working back. So we'll go on to my Batman then. My Batman, like I said, he's 39. Um, feels mid 30s, but I mean, he is 39, so no one's going to say anything if he does
Yeah.
play a 40-year-old Batman. I've went for Theo James.
Right. Okay.
I think, obviously, was it the Divergent movies he was in?
Yeah.
He showed the kind of the physicality and the ability to be a physical actor. And then on top of that, just the clips I've seen from him in the White Lotus and just the always being a step ahead of everyone else. And I don't know, there was just something about it when I thought of it, I just couldn't really shake the notion of it in my head.
He's
I
really
don't.
good in The Gentleman as well. I think
Yeah,
that's the thing I've
I've
seen
seen
him in
clips
the
from that as
most.
well.
Aye, he plays that kind of stately lord role really well, which would probably cross over to the Bruce Wayne territory. I
I think
think
it might
that
have
would probably
even
work.
been the trailer for The Gentleman where I saw him in that, and I think that might have been what I seen him in. And I was like, what
Hmm.
would that look like if we just put the cowl on him? And
Yeah,
I think as soon as I got that idea in my head, I couldn't shake
good
it.
job.
No,
That's
and
fair.
since then it's been the exact the same one. So that's our Batman's pick. We've got Scott Adkins and we've got Theo James. Now we'll go on to Nightwing. I think Nightwing, for me, I think Nightwing might be the most important character out of all these to get right.
Do you think so?
I think so
With that
because
emotionality connection to Batman and the mistakes and being the first Robin.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think the fact that I've been saying for a while, I think the villain of the Brave and the Bold should be Red Hood.
Hmm.
I think it should be. I think we should do the story of him coming back just as he's taken on his son as Robin. And
Right.
I've been saying this since that was announced. And then we've just since got the announcement of Dynamic Duo, where we're then
Hmm.
going to form an attachment to Jason Todd, presumably for that movie to end with him getting beat to death by the Joker.
Hmm.
I think if we have this movie with Dick Grayson as, when he's transitioning out of being Robin in early days of Nightwing into a kind of older and more jaded Nightwing, if we then have a story that looks like they may be setting up for the first Batman movie to be the Red Hood story with Jason coming back, as you say, the first Robin, the one with the biggest and deepest connection to Bruce, the one who had to witness him make fuck up all these times to finally be in a place where he can, essentially not fuck up Tim's life forever, because Tim is, maybe the most well-adjusted Robin out of the four.
Yep.
And then obviously you'll also have some of that jealousy that filters down through the Robins.
Hmm.
Can maybe even do a weird rivalry with him and a 14-year-old Damien, because he was like, you might be his son, but fucking, I think. And then obviously you've got the ramifications of doing Titan stories, you've got Nightwing
Yep.
solo stuff, because realistically, out of all the rest of the Bat family, I'm not clamoring to see a Red Hood solo movie. I'm not clamoring for a Tim Drake solo movie.
I don't think anyone is.
Yeah, but
It's one
everyone
of those
wants the
ones where,
Nightwing solo movie.
yeah, like I would go and see a Nightwing solo movie. The Red Hood, things like that, they're a bit more niche for those outside of these kind of circles, and I
Yeah,
don't think that character would garner much support. You'd be looking at like minimal, like you'd need to go into that with like a $25 million budget and
yeah,
hoping to get like 120 back for it, and it's no viable
yeah,
at this stage.
and I think obviously down the line we've seen Marvel movies make loads and loads of money from kind of slightly more obscure characters, but I also don't
Hmm.
think outside of Batman's orbit, I don't find Red Hood entirely interesting.
That's fair.
Whereas
Yep.
Nightwing solo in Bloodhaven doing his own thing is some of my
Yeah.
favourite stuff to read. I love Nightwing solo books. I think he's great. So for me, as important as it is for the Batman to be cast right, I think there's a case to be made that getting Nightwing right is even more important.
Yep. No, I would agree with you there. Yep.
So, looking at the
What we
essential
got?
characteristics for them here. So these are just my wee notes I've got first of all. I want my actor to be 25 to. I did say 25 to 30, then I found out my actor's 32, so I've now said 25 to 32 age range. Ideally, if they're on that older end, can play down to around 25.
Hmm.
They've got to be. This is one thing as well. They've got to be incredibly good looking, because that's one of the things with Dick Grayson in the comics. He is like the most attractive man in the DC universe in canon.
Yep.
On the cover of his the DC Anniversary Nightwing comics, it's just him with his big old booty cheeks on the front cover,
He's
just
just a
mewing.
model, isn't he?
Yeah, so we need an
Just
incredibly good
mewing.
looking. He's just fucking. He's
You
on
need
the
this man
cover.
to have infinite riz.
Yeah, I need him to have gone to the Rizzler School of Mewing. It needs to be as well. I need them to be like a slim build. Obviously, Dick Grayson was an
Hmm.
acrobat. He needs to feel. It needs to feel like he can flip and kind of be more
Move.
evasive.
Hmm.
Exactly, he's got to move really well. I want someone who feels hopeful and optimistic, but not naive, which is I think a main characteristic of Nightwing. Is he never really gets jaded, even though he's been through everything and seen everything. And whereas I think Tim Drake has a lot of optimism about him. I still think Tim Drake can be incredibly naive as a character. And I think that's just because when he came into the Bat family and helped with doing whatever, I think Nightwing still feels optimistic, but he never feels naive. And then one thing I think, even though it's only quite a recent addition to the character, I looked towards actors of Romani descent. I think for him being probably the third most high profile Roma comic book character, I thought I needed to look at actors of Roma descent. I found none who fit, but I did some more digging and found some. I'll explain when we get there.
We'll go for it.
Okay, so let's run me through your runners up for Nightwing.
Well, I've only got the one runner up, and he's lesser known. He's got that supernatural connection to like Echoes as well. So I've gone for Drake Roger, who was in the Winchesters. That was a series that ran on the same network as Supernatural.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, moral good looks.
He's relatively unknown apart from that. I've only seen a couple of episodes, but I was really impressed with his performance. And I think he can bring that, not the naivety, but that kind of, he's strong-headed, and he's just got a will to be his own person, to bring forward and not necessarily be the next Batman, just be his own Nightwing.
So for me, there are two names that when I was looking that I thought of. I looked, I couldn't find any sort of ties to Roma heritage in them, so they went out. Logan Lerman and Harris Dickinson. I think I like Harris Dickinson a lot more. He's brilliant, but from what I could tell, neither of them have any Romani heritage. Then I did find a young actor with Romani heritage, but he just doesn't fit the profile whatsoever. He's the right age. He does all the sort of things acting wise, but he's a stockier kind of guy and not your traditional model.
Right.
Connor Swindell's from Sex Education, I found out, is of Romani descent. So
right, okay, yeah.
So I thought I'd shout him out here, but he doesn't fit for a Nightwing. He's wider build and like I say, he does
just a bit big.
Yeah, he does everything else right in terms of what he can control.
He's just not as nimble as you would want him to be for a Dick Grayson.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, when I went looking for actors of Roma descent, I couldn't really find anyone. And then I read an article that said the Romani people, it is believed, or like the Romani ethnic group originated in sort of South and Central Asia and kind of then migrated into Europe. So I started looking at actors of kind of South and Central Asian descent, and I came across two who fit it perfectly. So my runner-up number one is Aramis Knight. He was in the Marvels. He was the clandestine boy that she fancies, the one with the long hair from the Marvels. Just kind of nimble, young. Obviously, he's done all the physicality stuff in that. Really, really good looking. I just think a little bit young because I think he's around about ages with Iman Vellani. Let me just double check his age here.
Late teens.
Yeah, Aramis Knight is... Oh, he's 25. So still...
Oh, there you go.
He's kind of in the age range.
Kind of fits that bracket.
Yeah. So I think he's a really good shout. But my pick, like I say, went for maybe one of the most gorgeous actors in the world of South Asian descent. I've went for Avan Yogia from Victorious and Zombieland Double Tap and my Instagram feed. I just think he kind of brings... I've seen him in a few other things, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I watched him in something recently, like I say, where in his sort of little bit part for like 25 minutes or whatever, he was just very, very good. Obviously, I know him more from like Victorious and stuff in Zombieland. He was in the Shaft movie that Netflix did as well. Oh, he was in... he played Leon Kennedy in a Resident Evil movie. He's one of those guys that it looks like his agent is just like, pay my second house, keep taking all these bad movies. But I think give him the chance.
Every agent.
Yeah. He's really in his Nick Cage 2015 to 2019 era right now.
Yep. Let's just get rid of all this debt and pay my mortgage.
Yeah. So I do think he's maybe not shown it as much, but I think from what I've seen in the little flashes of things, I just think again a little bit like I think with the Theo James, kind of give him this and let him run with it and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I've got my number one pick. You can look this guy up. Wolfgang Novogratz.
Oh, yeah. I really like him.
I've seen him in Taro. That's the only thing I've seen him in, but he was so good in it, and he is my number one pick. Just give him it for his name alone. Wolfgang Novogratz.
Yeah, he's great.
He's just got that. He's got that look. He's got that Dick Grayson look. As soon as you look him up on Google, you'll see his face, and you're like, "That's Dick Grayson."
I watched him in something recently. What did I watch him in? Jason Taro. What did I watch him in? I watched him in something shite recently, but like he was good.
Every other film he's done apart from Taro.
Yeah.
Just look at his face and tell me that's not Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
It's uncanny.
Is it this? This? Yes, that's it. That Yes God Yes, the one with her from Stranger Things with the Catholic girl who discovers wanking.
Oh, Natalia Dyer.
Yeah.
It's a short film, isn't it? It's a short film.
No, it's an hour 20.
I think
shorter, but yes, an hour 20.
Yeah,
it's pish. I turned it off.
You were just there for Natalia Dyer wanking.
No, I can't. It was well, that too. No, it was like the description of it. The description of it was something along the lines of it was like a young woman navigates. The description of it was like a young woman navigates the trials and tribulations of the guilt that her faith brings, and I was like, that sounds all right. And then it's just Natalia Dyer having a wank.
Yeah.
So
I'd tune in for that every day of the week.
Make
it longer. Give us a 3-hour version. Why make it an hour 20?
Right, we're seated.
I am so seated.
the
theatre staff are asking me to leave.
I can't. I'm so seated. But yeah, I thought it was fun in that, and I really liked him. Again, he's one of those guys who's not been in a lot, but as you say, he's one of those people guys who just give him something and he'll run with it.
Yeah. No, I think he's got that. He's just got the look, and that for me, I know the look doesn't always sell the talent, but he's got the talent as well, and that's exactly what I'm looking for my
I think as well, like for me, I'm kind of looking at like the look has such a big part of it, and I understand they want to maybe take it out and swap certain aspects for certain characters, like in my X-Men picks. When I was thinking about making these videos like about a year ago with one of my mates, we're kind of talking about it. My pick for Professor X.
11 Charles Xavier's.
Yeah, but this was like a year ago. This was before I'd even made this channel, and I was thinking about it. And my number one pick for Professor X was Olivia Colman, and then they cast her in Secret Wars and made her be in Secret Invasion, and then they made Olivia Colman be in Secret Invasion, which is just,
and it ruined it for you.
Yeah, a real shame. But I'm not one that's like, I'm not one that needs to stick 1-to-1 to the comics. But I also think with a Nightwing, when something that's so integral to his character is that he's the best looking person in the world, it's got to be something there. So then we'll move on to Red Hood, to Jason Todd for the second Robin, the one who is killed by Joker, revived in the Lazarus Pit, and then becomes a villain, then an anti-hero, then sometimes just a hero, but he'll kill people as long as Batman's not looking. So for that, I think I want him... Yeah, just always keep them fangs on him. So I want him slightly younger. That's what we need. We need an actor who's just packing.
That guy who played one of the Menendez brothers, he's packing. You seen that?
Nah, still no.
Jeez.
Big yak, big piece in him. That's too much.
It's like Desert Eagle.
Get John Cena in the fucking Suicide Squad, these wee tiny pants. That was...
if you put him in that, he'd be busting out the man. You need it like rated X.
I was in the cinema watching the Suicide Squad.
I thought it would be on your ass.
That's when I was in the cinema watching the Suicide Squad that I nearly took my fucking eye out. Mental. Hectic.
Yep. And that's on steroids.
Yeah, God bless him. So, so for Red Hood, slightly younger than Dick Grayson, I want them to just have a real anger about the performance, have a real chip on their shoulder. I don't want them to be absolutely massive. I think as much as it was a bit shit, I quite enjoyed Gotham Knights, the game, but I still think Jason being 7 feet wide was a little bit too much for me. I was like, come on, lads, get a rest.
Aye, he just put all his torment and anger into being absolutely massive.
Yeah, so I want it to feel big, but I don't want that. I don't want a guy the size of a house. Nah. So I want him to be a believable brawler. Is what I want.
Mhm.
You need to be able to see their sensitive side, so we can see how they were able to feel so betrayed and become so angry. So we need a vulnerability to them, but also
Yep.
we need them to just be able to turn that off and cover it with the anger. So those are my main things. Now, my Red Hood. In fact, I'll go through my my runners up first. So I've got
Go
5
for it,
runners up here. First of all, I think he's a
please.
little bit too old. Dacre Montgomery. First name that came to mind, just a little bit too old.
He's
So
one of my picks. I've got him in my list.
I love him. I
Yep.
think he's great.
Purely on Power Rangers and Stranger Things, if you just watch those two performances, they're
Yeah,
so conflicting.
I
And
know.
especially in Stranger Things, where he's got that kind of ruthlessness to him. And I think that's what Jason Todd needs. He needs that ruthless determination just to
For
be
me,
an absolute bastard at times.
just Power Rangers, I've like never kind of seen him as anything but Johnny Storm. And then when he wasn't cast as
Mhm.
Johnny Storm, I started looking at other things, but I just forever only seen him as Johnny Storm from Power Rangers because
Yep.
I love that film. I know it's no great, but I love it. As a Power Rangers kid,
It's good for what it is. See, like the first half, great, and
yeah,
then it just off a cliff. But
I still think it's a lot of fun.
Naomi Scott's good in that as well, actually.
Yeah,
I like Naomi
I
Scott
kind
in
of
that.
I think as well, RJ Cyler is like probably the standout for me in that. I think he's brilliant in that.
Yeah.
And then just proceeded to do nothing like it since.
Aye, I know. But I think Power Rangers should be animated for everyone. I'm sick of live action Power Rangers. It lends itself to animation.
Yeah, I think because Hasbro now they don't want to keep relying on having to pay Toho. They'll just probably just animate it forever now, which fair enough.
Which they should do. They should have done that 50 years ago.
It's fine. It's fine because all the Power Rangers from my childhood are up on YouTube for free. So
Brilliant.
And it's up on the Power Rangers channel as well, so it's great. So
what was your kind of era Power Rangers?
My first one was Wild Force.
Wild Force.
So
yeah, I had the original Power Rangers. So we like Tommy as the White Ranger, and that was kind of like my introduction. Like, who was the villain in that film? Ivan Ooze.
Oh, that's another one of those films. Another one of those Streets Won't Forget films. God bless.
Nah, that's
with the weird,
so cheesy, but it's insane.
The weird shiny like wet Power Ranger suits. They almost look wet, like they've oiled up before going to a wrestling match. It's great. So my other three picks here, I've got Tanner Buchanan from Cobra Kai. I think he kind of lends himself quite well to this.
I've only got 2 picks, and you've knocked the 2 of them out. That's my second pick. I've got him down. He's a Cobra Kai alum. He's got that martial arts connection. He is a massive troublemaker in that series. And he as well, he's got that ruthlessness and the darkness that I think you need in a Jason Todd.
Yeah. I think
he's another one who's similar to Dacre Montgomery.
Yeah. Someone I really like, I've only seen him in a couple of things, but he's kind of the right age. It's Nicholas Hamilton. Mm-hmm. He played the bully in the newer Ep movie. So he's got that kind of just ruthless sort of energy to him, and but also like feels very troubled in that movie. And I just like Nicholas Hamilton. I think he's a lot of fun. Lamar Johnson, who's kind of probably most notable recently for that one episode of The Last of Us, the second most heartbreaking episode of The Last of Us when he has to kill his wee brother. I think he was really good in that. He's brilliant in that. I think there's a lot of Jason, and the confliction within Jason is kind of there in that. If we want to talk about Secret Invasion again, and I know no one wants to talk about Secret Invasion, but I'm going to bring it up again because if there's one person who is really good in that show, it's Kingsley Ben-Adir.
Yep.
That almost serves as a Jason Todd audition tape.
I suppose so, yeah. But do you think I might think he's just a wee bit too mature.
See,
just slightly.
My kind of main reason for not picking him here is I've already chosen a non-white actor for my Nightwing, and my Red Robin is another actor of colour. And I think if we want to at least maintain the air of mystery around who Bruce Wayne is, if Bruce Wayne goes on to adopt 3 black kids and Batman has 3 back-to-back black, or 2 black kids and 1 like Asian kid, and then Batman then has an Asian sidekick and then back-to-back 2 black child sidekicks, everyone's going to go, it's him! It's that fucking guy!
Yep, 100%.
It's the white guy who keeps adopting black kids and then making them fight crime. So I think
It's Madonna.
So it'd be so easy to know if Madonna was
Madonna's Batman.
Batman. If Madonna was Batman, we would know instantly.
Oh,
So that's one of the
her
reasons I kind of took it down.
her superwoman name would be Material Girl.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Thanks.
But I think especially that kind of closing, that monologue in that last episode when he's having the talk to Fury before we find out it's not Fury, and then Emilia Clarke gets the Drax arm. That whole bit there just feels like Red Hood. But as I say, I think for the optics of the universe and the fact I think he's a little bit older as well, I had to knock him out here. So my number one pick is Brady Hepner. Now I've seen him in exactly two things. He was in The Holdovers, where he's a little shitty snot-nosed kid who is like the wee arsehole who then gets sunburnt on the ski slopes at the end. And we're like, yeah, you got your comeuppance. It's not really for that. Did you watch The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke?
I did, yeah.
You know the kid who's like,
he again?
He's like the local bully who at the end, the one who like doesn't really want to help him escape, but he's like, I'm just so fucking annoyed that this loser who can't look at me without his mask was able to fucking kill me. If I was here, I'd go up the stairs, I'd smash his mask into a million bits, and I would beat him to death with my fists. I watched that movie and I was like, oh my god, that's him. Everything he does in that film is just Jason Todd. And I know he's young, he's 19, but I think we can make him a little bit older. He feels younger than... Well, he feels around about the age of my Tim Drake.
Mm-hmm. So you could bulk him up as well.
Yeah, get him to put on a bit of muscle. Like I say, he feels around about the age of my Tim Drake. So you can just make him look that little bit older, make my Tim Drake look that little bit younger.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
So did I go through your two picks there?
You took away Dacre Montgomery and you took away Tanner Buchanan, so those were my two picks, and they kind of fit into the same kind of stereotype that they're angry, vulnerable, ruthless, and that's exactly what I want from Jason Todd.
Yeah.
So yeah, you swiped my two picks to the side.
I do apologise. So then we'll go on to Tim Drake. Now we were saying before this, for me, he's my favourite Robin. In terms of the characters who have been Robin, he's not my favourite. But in terms of his time as Robin, I've always read more Tim Drake. I've always kind of interacted with more Tim Drake as Robin. My favourite Batman stories have a lot of Tim Drake in them. I also like that he's the only Robin that feels like he can match Bruce on an intellectual level. The fact that he becomes Robin so soon after Jason dies by working out who Batman is and just going, well, I worked it out, so I'll be Robin now, or I'll tell everyone that you're Batman. And I think
just leans into that detective side.
Yeah, exactly. And I think then it's another way that you separate him from Dick and from Jason, whereas Dick's a real like evasive kind of fighter. Jason's obviously, like I said, I want him to feel like a brawler. I need this guy to feel physically capable, but not have that be like his real crutch kind of thing.
Yeah, he's more capable. Brains and brawn. He can outsmart rather than he's take like someone on physically. Yeah,
he's like playing chess whilst in a fight. That's what I want him to feel like. I say it again, like I want him to feel younger. I want someone who can ideally play around about 18, 19. Bit of a nerd. I want him to be charismatic because Tim Drake is really charismatic. I do think as well he should have a massive chip on their shoulder as the third Robin. The fact that he had to seek Batman out to become Robin. He had to find him and go, I know who you are. Now you've got to make me Robin. He's got to have a massive chip on his shoulder. Like I say, feel really determined. And as I say, physically capable, but I don't need the physicality to be as big a deal as it is for Jason and Dick.
Yeah. Nope, I agree with you there, yeah.
So give me your picks. Give me your runners-up.
I've not got any runners-up. I've got one pick and one pick only, and it's Lucas Jade Zuman.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
He's in Dr. Bird's Advice for Sad Poets. That's the only thing I've seen him in, and he's so good in it. And I think
he's in Anne with an E. Because it's Amy Beth McNulty.
Tim Drake's kind of hard for me to cast because he's not a Robin that I connect with. The only storyline that I've ever connected with Tim Drake in was Batman Beyond, the animated movie. It's the only thing I've ever connected with Tim Drake in because he's got that tie into the Joker and running through his past, and it's the only time I've thought, I can get the grips with that character. But yeah, Lucas Jade Zuman is my pick, and I think he would do really well in it. And it's kind of a big break for him as an actor because I know James Gunn likes casting lesser known actors in these kind of roles to give him kind of like a leg up, and I think that's something that he could elevate his performance from Dr. Bird's advice and then bring it into that Tim Drake because he does show a lot of vulnerability in that, and I think that ties in with the Tim Drake character.
I can see that. I actually like the look of him as well. So for me, I've got 2 runners up and then my number 1 pick. Originally, obviously everyone wanted this guy as Damien. I've got Aidan Gallagher here. I think older he's got, Damien feels quite close. Damien feels like Tim with an ego a lot of times to me. So if we can tone the ego down in that performance, especially from what he did as 5, I feel like it'd be fun as a Tim Drake. My other runner-up, we spoke about the holdovers there. I think Dominic Sessa has a lot of that sort of clever, vulnerable side throughout that film. Right age range.
I love him.
He's fucking brilliant. I've only seen him in that, but God, I love that movie.
It should have been Bob Dylan. I love Chalamet, but he should have been Bob Dylan.
Oh, 100%. And I'll tell you one thing. See watching the holdovers in that mini holiday between like the 22nd and the 29th of December. That is going to... that's going to hit like crack. I cannot wait.
Oh, yeah.
Going to watch it.
Brilliant.
Going to watch it at my mom's on Christmas Eve and completely ruin the vibe while she sits in the corner in floods of tears.
That's me watching After Sun as well. I just like inflict that upon other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dominic Sessa's got the face that he has never seen an iPad.
Oh yeah, 100%. Which is so mad.
He's got a 1970s face.
But he had to be taught how to use a rotary phone, and I'm like, does that not just come instinctively when you look like that?
100%. Like that, this man has never seen a window in a car that you've had to press a button on. He has rolled down every car window in his life.
Oh, 100%.
He just has that face.
He looks like he's never, like, as soon as you tell him that you can change television channels with a remote, he's like, no chance. I need to walk up and I need to turn the knob.
Blows.
Yeah. Yep. I think he's great here. But like I say, maybe kind of spoiled it a little bit before. I've went for a black actor here for my Red Robin. I just think everything he does in his one sort of main performance feels very Tim Drake, young, incredibly clever, real chip on his shoulder. And I fucking hate every time we're like, we need a young actor, let's grab a Stranger Things kid. But Caleb McLaughlin's just so perfect here.
I knew you were going to go down that route.
He's just so perfect.
It's so hard it's so hard not to pick people for Stranger Things because they are young, talented actors. There's a couple that I would not pick based on morality itself, but
there's some people in Stranger Things who will never see the light of day of any of these lists. But
no, I will never utter their names.
No, but Caleb McLaughlin, I think my thing with Caleb McLaughlin is I liked him for Miles, and in 2019 or 2020, maybe 21, a couple of years ago anyway, he posted like a gym photo on Instagram, and I sent that to my friend, and I was like, he is begging Kevin Feige to give him a call about Miles Morales. And then the more we've went, and the more that Sony have held up discussions of what happens with Spider-Man, and are they going to make a Miles live action movie, or is the MCU ever going to get him? I just think as time goes on, he's eventually going to it's going to run out. And
I'm just going to give up.
And either that or I just think, I don't know. We've already got Prowler. Just do it. Mm-hmm. Just hurry up. Just do it. But I like Caleb McLaughlin for that, but I also really like him for Tim Drake. I think, as I said, a lot of that smart and vulnerable, kind of not the leader of the pack, but is sometimes the one with his head screwed on the most.
He can hold his own.
Yeah, I think he fits perfect here. We mentioned Stranger Things actors, and there's more here. There's more here, baby.
I've got, I think, another one in my list overall, but on you go. What we're going for next?
I'll go for Oracle. I just need to double check something because
Right. Okay.
she was in it. So technically, I've got 3 here in my Oracle. One of them gets it. Amy Beth McNulty's not a Stranger Things actor. A complete aside, uh,
Right.
Amy Beth McNulty bought me my lunch one day, which is because she's from
That's fair.
she's
How did that happen?
she's from Donegal, which is like where I grew up, and she's
Right.
friends with
Right.
like my
Okay.
pals who are a couple of years younger than me. And I was out in
hmm
Letterkenny with my mates, and they were just out with her, and I like just bumped into them, and I was chatting with them, and they were like, "What are you up to?" I was like, "I was literally just floating about. Do you want to hang about with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sound no bother." And we were floating about, and
Was
then
she
I
in
went
Stranger Things?
into. She was in the like season 3 or 4. She's like the
Oh,
young.
all right.
She's
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like right in at the end. But then, so we
Yeah.
were
I've got you.
floating about, and
Yep.
we went in somewhere for lunch, and my fucking and my card I just tapped my card, and I looked at it, and there was like a crack in the chip, and I was like, shit, I now need to go to the
hmm
bank and be like, can you send me out another debit card? And I was like, fuck, and she just went, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, and bought me a burger and
That's
chips.
that's
So
class.
shout at her,
Shout out Amy Beth,
and she will not be getting her money back because she's on Netflix money.
the burger hero of Donegal. That's what she will
Yeah,
be known as from now on.
yeah. She can afford to buy me a burger and chips. I can't afford to buy me a burger and chips. She's got Netflix money. She's cool.
She's fine.
Yeah. But tangent aside, we'll look at Oracle, and I've wrote here in my first wee note, and get ready to boo.
Right.
Oracle,
Okay.
ironically, the backbone of the Bat family.
Hmm, I'm not booing. No, I'm not booing.
Yeah. But so
Yeah, I
obviously,
refuse to boo. I don't
I
agree with it, but I don't entirely disagree with it.
I was more for the joke about the backbone.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I get that.
So for me, I kind of see her
It's
as, like I say, ironically the backbone. She kind of serves as the moral compass for most. She doesn't serve as Bruce's moral compass. She
yep,
serves as everyone else's moral compass because
but for everyone else.
They're too busy trying to contain Bruce. So she's
Yep.
getting the trickle down effects of it. Um, and then, like I say, especially after the injury, she kind of definitely serves as the moral compass for the majority of everyone in the Bat family. I do think it would be great to have a disabled actor in here, but I do think it's more interesting seeing Batgirl first and then she becomes Oracle, mainly because they took the
Definitely.
Batgirl movie away from us. I think if
Yep.
that movie had come out, then it would be fun. Then we could start with Oracle already as Oracle. But because
hmm
they stole a Batgirl movie with Brendan Fraser from us,
It's, it's something you just want to see.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
So,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
so
Um,
I've looked at actors kind of all ages, but
mhm.
I did settle for the one closest in age to my Nightwing because, like I said earlier, in a lot of comics and cartoons and games and stuff, they're just like, well, if Nightwing's in his 40s, Oracle is going to be in her 20s. That means she has a relationship with Tim Drake, and I'm like, no, she doesn't.
Mhm.
So I've just went for the one that's closest.
Blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy.
Right there. How old? Yeah, no, she's too young. Never mind. Because there is an actor I really, really like, and
hmm
but she's too young. She's 10 years younger than my than my Nightwing.
Dick Grayson.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of I like my Oracle that I've got. I do think other actors on this list are better, but for the
hmm
fact that they are all so much younger than my Dick Grayson, I've went for. Let's double check the list. The age of one last actor here.
I'm going to check the name of
Yeah,
my
no, she's
older,
also
the
too young.
age of my older pick.
She's that Jesus. I did not know she was that young. Never mind. Never mind. So I'll
Right.
I'll look through my. I've got 2 names here that are disabled actors that I think are a lot of fun, and I've not seen them in many things, but I saw Kira Allen in that movie Run. I thought she was quite fun. Madison Ferras in The Glass Menagerie. I also thought she
hmm
was quite fun. Like I say, I think they're a lot of fun. If we want to get a disabled actor in, I think you can do a lot worse than either of those. But I just
100%.
think I want to see Batgirl become
You want
Oracle.
that Batgirl starting point. Yeah. It also adds to the emotional weight. You want to like seeing that, and you can play about with that with different characters, especially like Nightwing and Bruce.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that lends itself to the material very
Yeah,
well and gives you that emotional kind of linchpin for Batman. And obviously, if you're having that same storyline, you're obviously bringing that darkness to the Joker, where it might be
yeah,
quite fun, but that's just like the darkest you could go.
yeah, exactly. So my picks, like I say, all of my picks here are really young, and I think all the actors that strike me as the most Oracle are too young. So I've went for one who
Mm-hmm.
strikes me as fairly Oracle and is in the right age range. So my runners up, I've got Freya Allen here. She was in the newest
Right,
Planet of
okay.
the Apes, and she was in, is it Baghead? She was the
Yep.
one. If we were watching the if we watched when we did the giant-sized X-Men, who Ewan was like talking, he was like, "I'm going to gender swap Banshee." Obviously, the most famous Irish comic book character of all time was like,
Yep.
uh, then cast an English actor. Then at the end was like, she's just got a real British vibe, suits for Banshee. Back to back yellow cards. And then was like, and then I was like, what made you think she was Irish? She goes, she was in this movie that was set in Ireland. So I just assumed. She's talking about the movie Baghead that's set in Berlin.
Berlin, Dublin.
I think it was
Close enough.
it was Belfast he was thinking of.
Well, that's even worse.
Yeah.
That's
So
double yellow,
yeah,
sending off.
yeah. And then another
Aye,
red company's already on the bench. Like it was bad.
well, aye.
So Freya Allen, a legend of my fan casting series, she's one of my runners up here.
Okay.
Mentioned her, the burger hero of Donegal, Amy Beth McNulty. Shout
Mm-hmm.
out, Queen.
Big up.
Again, too young. Um,
More burger
well,
money. She gets that
yeah,
role.
exactly. She could buy me 2 burgers and two chips if she gets it. So actually, she's getting it. She's getting the role.
Yep. Give her,
Uh,
give her my details.
this is my
I'm
Revolut.
going for a
Send me.
Five Guys. Go for a Five Guys this time.
you've
Let's
got
go
you've
all
got
out.
you've got DC Studios money.
Yep. You are background. You can buy me Five Guys.
Yeah. As another thing I mentioned here, so a lot of these actors are redheads. I know obviously that's not, you don't need her to be redheaded, but a lot of these actors are.
Yeah.
Sadie
Sure.
Sink, another Stranger Things young redhead, a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
Feels probably outside of my next pick, feels the most Oracle out of the second most Oracle out of this whole list. Again, she's too young. I think she's 24.
She looks a lot younger as well, though.
Yeah. Sophia Lillis from Dungeons and Dragons and It.
And it, yeah.
She's 22 though. So again,
Just
and
a bit young, yeah.
and she's the one that I say feels the most Oracle, but if my Nightwing's 10 years older than her, I don't think we can age her up 5 years and age him down 5 years to where it's believable.
Nah, she looks too young. She's too she's not weary enough in the face.
Yeah. So it's not someone I love for Nightwing. It's someone I like,
Mhm.
and I do think it's quite an obvious one. But she has all the hallmarks of a Nightwing. I think Maya Hawke would be a lot of fun here. I think there's
Stranger Things connection there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's great. I think she'd be a lot of fun here.
She's really good. Yeah, I
Although
enjoy her. And
maybe looking to
even
focus on
helping your
music.
dad isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, she's said that she's maybe looking to focus on music a little bit more recently, which I'm not going to complain about because that album, Chaos Angel, is one of my favourite albums this year. But
Yeah.
she's multi-talented. She's brilliant. Like I say, she's not. If I was going to break the rules and do some real, perform some real sacrilege and have Oracle be sort of romantically entangled with my Nightwing, or sorry, with my Red Robin, then I'd probably go for Sophia Lillis, around that same age as Caleb McLaughlin. But I'm not a loser who likes it when Tim Drake is involved with Oracle, because that's for losers. So yeah, went for my hot there. So who are your picks, and then your pick for Oracle?
Well, I'll give you right. I'm gonna need to make a decision here on who my number one is, because I've been going between. This pick is dependent on my Jim Gordon. This first one, I've gone for Yara Shahidi. I've only seen her in a couple of things.
I know the
I've seen her
name. I know the
in.
name.
She's in I think it's the Apple TV series Extrapolations.
Oh, she's in
She was
Grownish.
in Blackish. Yeah,
Yeah,
Blackish
yeah,
and Grownish. Yeah,
yeah,
she was
yeah,
in
yeah.
that. I remember her mostly from Blackish,
Yeah.
and she played a young Olivia Pope from Scandal. So she was the young Kerry Washington, and I think that's just something about being a young Olivia Pope ignites that Barbara Gordon spark for me.
Yeah,
Like that
I really like that. I really like
intelligence,
that.
that willingness to get things done, and just the kind of steady head on her shoulders. That's just
Yeah.
like that's Barbara
See,
Gordon.
for me, I think one of the things that for me is, with a Yara Shahidi, who I think is a great pick for this. A lot of the actors that I was coming across for Barbara that I thought was really really good were were like actors of color. But for me, I've been
Mm-hmm.
so set on one Jim Gordon forever. Like since I
Yeah.
thought of it, no one has come close. I've got some people in there as runners up, just to be nice, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't touch my Gordon. So because of that, it's kind of why
Yeah.
I looked to ended up with my Hawk.
Aye. Well, Yara Shahidi's just if Jim Gordon is one person, then Yara Shahidi is Barbara Gordon. But my other two picks, one is another Stranger Things alum. It's Natalia Dyer.
Yeah,
I've only seen her in Stranger Things really, but that performance is enough to get her on this list.
yeah,
And the other pick, she's a bit older. She's 34. I think she could play down though to like a 26, 27. Is Jean Levy.
yeah.
She was in Don't Breathe and Castle Rock, I think.
I think
She's
so.
got that
Yeah,
strong, intelligent vibe about her, and I think she would be my front runner. She's obviously a redhead as well, which plays
yeah,
into the visuals of the character. And yeah, if you're looking to have that kind of closeness in age between Dick and Barbara, then 100%
yeah,
Jane Levy. She's my number one.
yeah. Okay, we'll round out the sidekicks then. I know it would probably make more sense to go right for Jim Gordon there, but we'll round out the sidekicks with Damian Wayne here.
Well, I've only got one pick.
Yeah, I've only got one pick, and I have a feeling it's going to be the same guy.
Right, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Right, so I'll before that we'll give my it's sort of, and when I read this out, it's going to make it even more obvious. My pick is my little
Right,
my
let's go.
little notes for what's important for Damien. I've just got
Yep.
here, needs to be a wanker, needs to be able to play a wanker. Funny, but ultimately a wee shit. I want someone who
Right.
can play about 14, 15. The actor I picked is 16. And he needs to have a real sense of entitlement, because one of my favourite Damien character moments ever, and I know a lot of people hate Damien, I fucking love Damien. Maybe it's because I started reading comics around about the New 52. Like, my first Batman story was
Yeah,
the Court of
during
Owls.
that run.
So, like, the first Batman comics I remember reading was Court of Owls. So, fucking unbelievable jumping off point. I think he's a lot of fun, but there's a great bit.
That's
I
an
think it's in the
intense
New
introduction.
52. Yeah, but I think it's in the New 52 where they're all like, Bruce's, like, it's after like a long night, and Bruce is like, he's fucked up, and the four of them are in the Batcave, and Damien's like, well, if he dies, I'm going to be Batman, thinking there's going to be like a fight for it, and the rest of them are like, yeah, please do it.
Yeah.
None of us want this. And
No.
he was like, you think
Nobody
that we
wants
all
that
want this?
responsibility.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, and in it, they're all kind of saying, like, you see us as competition. We do not want this. We've seen what that does to people.
Yeah.
He's got it kind of right now on his fourth try with you. That's why you think it's really cool to be Batman. If he dies, fucking go ahead and take it. And then he's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, I'll do it. So I love that.
Do you
This
think
wee
the
sense of
Batman should
entitlement.
die with Bruce instead of being a mantle that passes on, because that is
Yeah.
not something you want to. You don't want to
Yeah.
be bearing that kind of thing on your
But he's
shoulders.
like, but he like calls them all out, and he's like, well, I'm his only real son, so of course I'm going to be Batman. And they're all like, yeah, if you want.
Okay. No
Which
bother.
I
On you
think
go.
is which is like the perfect Damien panel. If I can find it, I'll put it up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, needs to play a wanker. Needs to be really young. Needs to be entitled. Needs to be like I say, he feels like Tim Drake with ego, so needs to be intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
I went for young Sheldon. I went for Ian Armitage.
I had him on there. He's my runner-up. I was so close to putting him number one, but because he's the grandson of the head of the dragon, he's got to be, I think, a bit more Eastern.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. It might not be for you,
Yeah.
but for me,
No,
he's got to be a wee bit more Eastern.
100%. I think it's just more I don't know any young actors around that age range. And
Yeah,
then also,
I'll give you one once you're finished.
and then my friend Morgan was talking about David Wayne, who he loves. And I think it's kind of similar. He started reading comics when he was Robin, so like he's his favorite just because he grew up on that. And he described it. He was like, "What's not to love? It's young Sheldon with a pair of samurai swords." And I was like, "Oh, that's yeah,
Yep, that's my pick.
yeah,
Yeah, he was my runner-up.
yeah." So who's your pick?
Well, I've gone for none other than our live-action Avatar, Gordon Cormier. So
Oh,
Aang from Avatar: The
yeah,
Last Airbender, the Netflix kind of run. I think he would be brilliant in that role.
yeah,
Just let him tap into the conflict of being Ra's al Ghul's heir and the heir to
yeah,
the Dark Knight, and I think we've got the best Damon you could ask for. He's got that kind of action flips and all that kind of stuff under his belt
yeah,
already with Avatar. It's the only thing I've seen him in, but I think if he can get that snark down and make him really, really
yeah,
insufferable, then you've got a perfect Damian Wayne. And he's got
yeah,
that Asian vibe as well, for like the Al Ghul's as well. So I think
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's going to be
That's a much better
half
pick.
Bruce, half Talia, then
Yeah,
Gordon Cormier, why not?
yeah, definitely. So will we go? We've teased everyone with our Jim Gordon, so we'll finish strong on Alfred. So we'll go into Jim
Right,
Gordon.
okay, go for it.
My essential traits for Jim Gordon I've got here. He's a cop that doesn't always play by the rules, has a moral compass, and he's always looking to make sure the right guy goes down. I've also got here that he believes the system can be changed by playing the game for long enough, but he's also not completely naive
Mm-hmm.
to the fact that if it doesn't, that's why he will work with Bruce. You know, a lot of the times he's kind of portrayed as the only non-corrupt cop in Gotham, and I don't always love that, but
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea that he believes eventually, if he keeps doing it the right way, he will rise through and he'll be able to stamp out the corruption himself.
Yeah.
And like I say, I want ideally in his 50s, so he doesn't feel like as much of a dad to Bruce, but is more of like a kind of
Mm-hmm.
older brother, like not like a
Right.
like a big cousin kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Aye.
I
No, I
I
get the
I,
vibe you're going for.
I don't, as much as I think J.K. Simmons absolutely fucking crushed it as that. I just don't love how much older he is than Ben Affleck,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that Gary Oldman in his like late 40s, early 50s, Christian Bale in his mid 30s kind of feels the perfect for me.
Yeah, perfect team up. Yeah, that kind
So
of age difference
yeah,
is not too much, not too little.
yeah. So for me, I've got two runners up here as we started this call. I was like, I realised I don't have any runners up for Jim Gordon because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want. I've got one name, but a couple of names that I came across that I think would be fun. A little bit older. I've got Bryan Cranston here. I love Cranston.
Mm-hmm. Who
Like, want to
doesn't?
be really fun. William H Macy would be a lot of fun here,
Hmm.
but I just a little bit old.
Yeah, just a wee bit. Yeah, a
Yeah,
bit wrinkled and weary
yeah,
looking. Yeah,
yeah. He was my William H Macy was my pick for J. Jonah Jameson when I thought they weren't going to just bring J.K. Simmons back, and then they did the right thing and
yeah.
brought J.K. Simmons back.
He's the
So
only JK. He's the only J. Jonah Jameson in my life,
yeah, and it's
and anyone
literally
he just
yeah, he's the best.
can't beat it.
So you said that earlier on you had zero picks for Jim Gordon, and now you've
And now
got
I have four.
yeah. So run us through them.
Yep. So I'll go with the Yara Shahidi connection first. I've
Mm-hmm.
gone with Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh
I think if you've
yeah,
got Morpheus, Perry the Bowery King, fucking 3-time Emmy winner, 3-time Tony winner, if you put that kind of talent in a role like this, you are winning
yeah,
all day, every day. It's such a it's just he just brings so much to every role that he's in. He's just a presence on screen that you just revere, and you think this man is just an acting god. And
yeah,
I love Lawrence Fishburne and everything he's ever done. Going back to things like Apocalypse Now, and he was he was a cop in something else. He was like Sergeant Whitey or something. I can't remember the film. But
Yeah.
he's so good in everything he's in, and I think he demands respect, and that's my Commissioner Gordon for obviously for Yara Shahidi. So that's kind of specific on if she's Barbara Gordon, he's Jim.
Yeah.
For my other picks, I'm going to go through into your line about Maya Hawke. I've picked Ethan Hawke. My love for the Hawk knows no bounds.
Yeah. I've got him.
He carries scenes, man. He's so intelligent, emotionally charged, but subdued.
Yeah, I've got him
On
as
Hawk.
I've got him as a villain, as a Batman villain.
See, I knew when we started this call before we went live, I knew you were going to say Hawk as a villain. And
I've got him as one specific villain, and
he's on that line between a villain and a hero. And I think if you do lean into that hero side, he is a Jim Gordon.
For me, a reason that, and I'll get into it more when we do our villains, but the reason I've got him down as a villain is I think he's very good at like chewing scenery without going over the top. He's very good at like making himself the center of attention, but in really subtle ways. And there's one particular Batman villain who just does that perfectly. And I just think that Ethan Hawke feels absolutely perfect for that. But I also love Ethan Hawke here. I mean, if Ethan Hawke if Ethan Hawke was sort of 10 years younger, he'd be in the running for my Batman as well. He's fantastic. Yep. And he's got the same birthday as me.
There you go. That's a claim to fame. Yeah, who shows a birthday by me? Oh, Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe.
Look at that. Two icons.
Icon. Absolute icon. But yeah, Ethan Hawke's one of my favourite actors. He doesn't get enough credit as far as I'm concerned. If you listen to any of the talks that he does, and he talks about acting and filmmaking, he's just so passionate about the whole thing. And that for me just encapsulates my love of film as well. As like you can all see, like if you've been on Instagram and stuff, the kind of things that I write, a lot of my inspiration does come from the way that Ethan Hawke talks about movies. And
I also love with him that he doesn't take himself so seriously, and how his role on Moon Knight came about because he was in a coffee shop with Maya, who saw Oscar Isaac and got too nervous to talk to him, and he was like, and his exact words were, "Well, I'm Ethan Hawke. He probably grew up watching me." So, and he had no clue who Oscar Isaac was, and walked over him. He was like, "Hey, are you this guy that's an actor? Because I'm me. You want to come and sit with me and my daughter because you're a big fan?"
I'm Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, and then they became friends, and then eventually he was like, "Do you want to be in this Marvel thing with me?" Which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said,
he's just a good guy. I love him.
Chewing scenery with doing very little. He does a lot of that in Moon Knight.
Yeah, 100%. Other picks. This one's a bit out of left field. He's maybe a bit too on the nose looks wise. John Slattery from Adjustment Bureau and Spotlight.
Yeah, I can see it.
If you watched either of those two things, you can catch that kind of Jim Gordon vibe. And then the other one, I think they're all kind of equal, but this one's maybe too on the nose. But I think it would be a perfect full circle moment for him, and it would be Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He's 73, but he's still fucking got it, man.
I think
it would be a near perfect pick.
He's so good.
Again, it's the same with Slattery. If you watch Spotlight, or he recently done like an action movie, I think it's Knox Goes Away, and he's still got the chops for it, man. He can do it, no bother. It may be too cliche.
I don't know. I've yet to see Beetlejuice, but I see like the new one, and I keep seeing clips from it, and I'm like, he's just still fucking perfect at everything he does. He's just not lost a step.
He could do a Beetlejuice movie every year, and I'd be there. I would be seeing.
Yeah, and even from what I've heard,
be forcibly removed.
From what I've heard, one of the one good things about the Flash.
Oh yeah, he's just him and that Batman. Him and that Batman role's iconic. Like without Keaton as Batman, without Tim Burton, we don't have. We're not talking about this. We're not talking about another Batman movie without Tim Burton and without Michael Keaton. So I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to just like bring that to a close.
Yeah,
because the Flash.
Let's give him another chance.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a great way for him to close out his Batman legacy, and I think.
I've
it to
still
him.
not watched it
I think he'd
because
do well.
my thoughts on the DCEU and the Snyderverse and Snyder's understanding of these characters are well known. But it's like for me, I've not watched the Flash. I will get to it, but like from what I've heard, he's great in it. My pick then, I feel like again with a lot of these characters, I'm saying like with Brady Hepner that a lot of the scenes in the Black Phone kind of feel almost exactly like an audition tape for a Jason Todd, and the same with Caleb McLaughlin as a Tim Drake. If we look at a law
Mm-hmm.
enforcement officer who likes to go off book and paint outside the lines, but believes if you just follow procedure and keep your head down enough, but ruffle the right feathers, you can really stamp out the corruption and make everything good and true and virtuous. My Jim Gordon's David Duchovny.
You know what? Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't entirely disagree with it. I've not seen Duchovny in a lot recently. Obviously, like a '90s icon, but
yeah.
like
He was
I've not seen
in
him in a lot, so I couldn't give you an opinion.
he was in that You People with Jonah Hill, where he's
See,
in
I never saw that.
it's fine. He's in
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of that
But I
was
was but I was
consensus that
watch
I heard.
yeah, I was watching it and I was just like, David Duchovny is so much better than this than what you've given him here. And I just think I just think like Mulder feels very Jim Gordon. I just think if you can
Mm-hmm.
just grizzle him up a little bit more than what we saw with Mulder, a slightly more grizzled and old and more kind of weary Mulder is your kind
Yeah,
of perfect mold for a Jim Gordon. So what better actor than Mulder, but now 30 years older?
yeah, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
So then we'll go to the last one here. We'll go to Alfred. If, like I say, if Bruce is obviously the face of the Bat family, and Barbara is, like I say, the backbone of the Bat family, Alfred's the heart and soul of the Bat family. Alfred is the one
Oh
that
yeah.
keeps everyone together. I've got here. He's got to
Big
feel
up my man Alfred.
fatherly to Bruce, grandfatherly to everyone else, warm and kind, but not a pushover. And I
Yeah.
think he's got to be able to hold his own with Bruce in terms of a clash of personality. I think he's got to
Mm-hmm.
be able to stand up to Bruce, and he's also 9 times out of 10 the only person that Bruce will listen to, unless every single member of the Bat family is telling him not to do something, and even still, he'll probably still go and do it. The one person he will listen to is Alfred 9 times out of 10.
100%.
So we need
Yep.
someone strong-willed, need someone that feels older, someone that is older than our Bruce, warm, caring, granda, but also grizzled. One thing I've put in this as well, as much as I like this sort of ex-army Alfred who like teaches Bruce how to fight sometimes, we're seeing that with Andy Serkis. We're seeing that sort of gruff,
Yeah.
kind of more rough and tumble version of Alfred. So I kind of looked at actors who don't really feel like that. I mean, what
Right. Okay.
my pick does, because we've told each other our picks for this. My pick does feel that sort of gruff way, but I think we can tone it down. I'll run through my
Yeah.
runners up first.
Mm-hmm.
My in fourth place, we've got Richard E. Grant. Love Richard E. Grant. I think he's
Yeah.
a lot of fun here. In
Yeah. He's a
third,
less physical vibe for Alfred. Yeah.
yeah.
Quite
In third place,
slim.
yeah. In third place, if we want to go for someone who we have seen kind of be more physical, but is doing less of it now, but maybe still has, you can kind of tell there's something about them. I think Robert Carlyle would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I could buy into that. I could buy into
I do
be
think
rad.
less Begbie and more like everything else he's been in, because
Yeah.
I always think about him as Begbie, and I remember speaking to one of my friend's mums, and she absolutely loves him, and it was through her that I found out because it was when I was like 15 or 16, and I just kind of assumed that after he'd done Begbie that was everything he ever did, and she was like, no, that's like a huge
It's
outlier.
just
She was like, no, that's a huge outlier. That's like one of four things like that. Everything else, he's like, nice
aye.
little man. So I think,
As long as he doesn't start taking his gear off like in the full Monty, like, come on, Alfred, keep the suit
aye,
on. Go on.
aye.
Jesus.
So I think we find the middle ground between the Robert Carlyle that Deirdre Grant falls in love with anytime he's on the telly, and Begbie.
Yep.
There's an Alfred in the middle of
Yeah.
that.
There's an amalgamation there somewhere.
Yeah, my number two pick is a man that I love with all my heart, and now that he's aged out of his rom-com leading man era and is in his cantankerous grandfather phase of his career. Hugh Grant would be a lot of fun here.
He's villain era, not
Yeah.
his cantankerous grandfather either. Paddington 2, best villain ever.
Yeah, although one of the main reasons I've not got him here is he was my Mr. Sinister. I think he's the perfect Mr. Sinister.
Oh yeah, aye, he's got that suave intelligence and just he
Yeah.
just seems so conniving, especially in his recent roles. He looks good in Heretic as well. I'm looking forward to that.
I've seen all the trailers for that, and that's one of my things as well
Aye.
about a Sinister. He's always having fun whilst getting up to badness,
Mhm.
which he does in Paddington and he does in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
I think he's fun.
He's just he's so fun.
Yeah,
See Phoenix Buchanan in that Paddington 2 film. He is on point.
Listen,
That's one of the greatest villain roles ever.
We know my thoughts on Paddington 2. I could sit here for hours and talk about everything I love about that film. But genuinely one of my favourite things about that film is Phoenix Buchanan. Just he's so fun. He's so fun. I'm not going to get into it because
the musical number at the end.
Don't watch it. And when he's the bit I love is when he's dressing himself for going to meet his agent and then runs back because he forgot a pocket square. Like, it's just so he's brilliant. So another reason
was that a cravat?
Oh no, it's his cravat. Yeah,
is that a cravat? It's his
cravat.
Yeah,
he's got his riding gloves and he's got his jodhpurs on. Like he's great. But another reason
hightails it back for his cravat.
Another reason I didn't pick him here is because I just want him to do villains. He's so good for villains.
He's fun. He's so fun as a villain.
Yeah. So my number one pick for Alfred, as we've had this discussion before, I've never seen this man do an English accent, but I couldn't. Right. Again, kind of with Theo James, I just couldn't shake it. So I don't doubt this man can do an English accent. I just don't think he's ever had to do one yet.
He's got the chops.
Yeah. I think Michael Shannon has nearly everything I want for Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Shannon for me
he's imposing as well, which I like for an Alfred. Like someone who's kind of like you can tell he's been a rough and tumble kind of guy when he was younger.
And like I say, for me, I don't necessarily want someone that it's entirely obvious that they've been involved in the training the way that like Circuses feels like he was the main source of training that Robert Pattinson's Batman's had. But I also don't think it hurts having someone that there is a respect there, because there was a point in time, maybe when Bruce was a younger man, when he was getting cocky, that Alfred could still, land a couple of hits on him and humble him,
Yeah.
And now that he's old and he's not going to do it, but he's still got that respect and a bit of something about him. I think Michael Shannon's great.
Yep, I think it's a good pick. I would take it as long as they can nail down that accent. I'm not having an American Alfred. No way.
No, it's entirely dependent on that accent. I think if he can't do the accent, as much as I said Richard E. Grant was my number 2, I love Hugh Grant as a villain too much to have him in here as Alfred. So if Michael Shannon can't do the accent, I'll take Richard E. Grant.
That's fair.
But I'm putting all my faith on Michael Shannon to be able to do that accent.
I think he could do it. He's got the chops. 100%.
Definitely. So your Alfred picks, kind sir.
Mine. Are you ready? These I've not got a runner-up. Like, it could be either of these two. I'm perfectly happy. These guys have got the comedic ability to like cut the tension. They've got the quippiness for Alfred. They've got that fatherly approach. They're tough. They can hold their own. They are quite similar in their careers, I would say. Both former MI6 agents, former Bonds.
Yeah.
Both are two of my favourites, not just as Bonds, but obviously one of them's been in a few comedies and the other one's recently played Dr. Fate, who I thought was brilliant in that Black Adam film, even though Black Adam in itself isn't great. So I've gone for Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan. These guys have just got it all. And I need either one of them as Alfred. I would take both of them in a heartbeat. Maybe Brosnan slightly over Dalton, but yeah, give me either one, and I am happy.
yeah, for me, when you told me that Dalton was like the first name that came to your mind, I was like, I don't know how I didn't think of that. He's so perfect. I saw there was a tweet I saw
Yes,
recently. Did you see that tweet? It was like someone was like, I just watched Hot Fuzz for the first time, and it's where is it? I'm going to find it. Someone tweeted about watching Hot Fuzz for the first time, and it's like, and the main thing they took away from it was Timothy Dalton, which
he's
is
so good. He's so funny. See that meme of him and it's his face and then the picture of his
ah
face behind it? Iconic.
yeah,
Like one
yeah.
of my favourites ever.
It's just here watching Hot Fuzz for the first time. So I watched Hot Fuzz for the first time, and I don't know how long, but it really is just incredible how Timothy Dalton delivers every single line like his life depends on it. It's everything,
It's so
but
good.
it's but
That's
everything he
so
does,
accurate.
and it's the bit for me. I think the bit I absolutely love, and it probably the best bit for him in that whole film is when he's sat at his desk with his feet up, and he's like, "Yeah, very good, you've got an alibi, but what about the cut?" And he lifts his trouser leg up, and Timothy Dalton just still stood there like this, just like he's so fucking perfect in that movie. That is like, there's
See when he's like, see when he's giving it the puns and he's like, I run this local supermarché. Drop in and see me sometime. My discounts are criminal.
he's
And then he's like,
so
catch me later. And he drives
he's,
away. Oh, it's
he's so
brilliant.
good. He's brilliant. I think he's class in it, and
Aye.
yeah, it's and there's a guy in my work, and we were talking about films, and he was like, I've not watched many, I'm not like as deep into it, but he was like, I don't. He was like, for me, of every movie I watched, that's probably not only my favorite, but the best made movie I've ever seen. I was like, yeah, I'm not mad at someone shouting that as one of the great, like just objectively one of the best made films ever. I'm not mad at that at
Aye.
all.
It's an all timer.
Yeah,
The full Cornetto trilogy is, but
yeah,
Timothy Dalton as Alfred or Pierce Brosnan, I think they could both nail it down brilliantly.
yeah.
I saw a photo shoot of Brosnan recently with his tweed jacket and his turtleneck jumper and all that, and I'm
Ah,
like, I would love to see you as Alfred, man.
yeah. He's still as well. Like that's the thing as well with Brosnan is one of the most fun actors in the world.
Mhm.
Like you just
See
watch.
that beard, that white beard and the white slick hair. Oh, he's he's still
But
so handsome, even in his like what is he like late 60s, early 70s.
I think yeah,
He's
late 60s. But even
he's
when he's
great.
doing like, but you can tell as well with Brosnan. I'm gonna find out. But
A good
even when
Irishman as
he's
well.
yeah, oh, and he's got his. I've just looked up here. The first one that's comes when he's got his tash and his wee goatee.
Aye, no,
uh,
he's great.
71. But like,
Yeah, I would take him as an Alfred.
but even when you watch him in like more recent things, like you can tell just how much fun he's having. Like, and it doesn't,
Yep.
and not necessarily like more fun movies. Like, I mean, he's obviously having the time of his life in Mamma Mia, as everyone is in those
Aye,
movies. But even The Foreigner, when he plays definitely not Jerry Adams,
definitely not Jerry Adams.
even in that
He's still
movie,
his whole look on Jerry Adams.
he's doing the voice and all. He's like, "No, Jackie Chan, I did not kidnap your daughter." Like it's fucking, but and even when he's in that movie, you can tell he's just having the
He's
most
just
fun.
100% Jerry Adams. Like hugging trees has a calming effect on me. I'm not a member of the IRA.
I
Aye,
was
I
friends
love it.
with them.
Great.
There's a difference.
Aye,
So
give me
yeah,
Pierce. Aye, give me Pierce. Give me
I'm
Timothy.
not mad at that.
Either or.
Yeah, either or's brilliant. So we'll leave it there for now for the
Aye,
first episode. Well, technically episode 4, but the first episode of our Batman fans casting series. We've had a lot of fun. We've cast 8 main members of the Bat family. As you know, with Batman, there's a lot of villains like Clockman, Condiment King. Uh, who else? Here's
how
another
could you
shite one.
forget Godman King?
Yeah, Condiment King, the goat.
Oh, who
There's
do
so
you want?
many.
There's
There's
loads.
so many.
What about Calendar
Joker,
Man in
get him
there?
out of here. I
What
love
Calendar
Calendar
Man?
Man. So many, so many, and I've looked at some of the names I've got here, and some of these are real good. But we'll leave them for next time. Kieran, now is your time to plug away, good sir.
Everyone, you can follow me on Instagram at Kieran at the movies and on Twitter at Kieran movies. Other than that, yeah, that's me. That's my socials, and yeah, hope you all enjoy the content that I'm putting out. And as well as Jake's. Yeah, it's all great, and I'm happy to be involved, and can't wait to cast the villains next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back soon for the villains. We'll have a lot of fun
100%.
with.
This
I'm
has
looking at
been
some of
fun.
these names here that I'll tell you once the recording's done because I've got some real good ones in here. But thank you guys so much for
Yep.
watching. Be sure to follow Kieran. I'm going to leave his links down below in the description, as well as the rest of my links and links to my other channels where I talk about wrestling and I talk about music. But right now, I won't lie, the content is absolutely fucking falling out me over on Capes just now. I'm throwing it out. Throwing it out.
Could be worse. You could put nothing in it.
Well, listen, the other channels can wait because there's so much going on with the Capes, baby. But, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.